All right, this upcoming video is going to start my actual playthrough through Baldur's Gate 3. Thinking about Baldur's Gate 3, I've heard that there are a million, billion, zillion different kinds of endings, and I kind of want to put that to the test. So I'll be recording my entire Baldur's Gate 3 playthrough, which will probably take the rest of my life to finish, but we'll see. And we're going to start with what was a surprisingly interesting end user license agreement. All right. So far, very pretty loading screen. Let's get some lights on. These are really nice. I like this little touch at the top here. Hello and welcome, mortal soul. Makes me actually kind of want to read the end user license agreement. So you wish to embark on an adventure in the Forgotten Realms. We know you've already given up some coin to get this far, and for that, of course, we're grateful. Yet you must also know that every deal with a being such as ourselves comes with additional terms and conditions. Let us lay them out for you. Introduction. Gravity the Pact. While we might joke around a little in this text, no pact should be taken lightly, so read it carefully and make sure you understand all its legal obligations and consequences. Terms in this pact with a capital have been defined throughout this pact and are to be understood as referring to said term. You got to be legal age in your country of residence, not your parent or legal guardian. You get to install or run one copy of the game, subject to your own agreement. We hereby grant and you hereby accept a limited, non-exclusive, non-transferable, revocable, and royalty-free license to install or run the game on your computer or device. This is all starting to get very familiar. I wonder if there's any more comedy in this. Okay, here we're giving away the ability for them to change the game or the game in the service. Larian Studios runs things really well in the past. Like Divinity Origin of Sins has had like upgrades continuously over the years. So I'm not too worried about that. But that, in theory, I guess, allows game studios to dial back features or requirements. Yeah. Pact obligations. I love this. Under the pact, you agree that you will not, under any circumstances, sell, lease, rent, loan, sublicense, or otherwise transfer the game, or grant a security interest in or transfer reproductions of the game to other parties in any way not expressly authorized herein. Copy, reproduce, or create derivative works. So I can't make a Baldur's Gate 3A, 3.5, I guess. Okay. Can't break any laws in your country. Can't modify this. A lot of things in here. You can't remove, delete, or alter in any way, change your copyright notices. Additional obligations in Eldritch law. That's good. For all those people who don't know D&D, like Eldritch is going to be like the magic area, right? Eldritch. I don't know how you would actually say it, but anyways, that's usually magic, Eldritch Blast, that kind of stuff from warlocks. Time for a pause. As we understand by now, your mind is longing for respite. That's if people have read it, right? Even me, I'm just sort of skimming over it, right? But I'm sure plenty of people just like skipped past this. It's pretty cool. Time for a pause. As we understand by now, our mind is longing for respite, having endured the above numerous provisions of legal jargon. So setting aside the weighty tones of somber legality, embracing a lighter path of ancient customs and mystical decrees that governed the fair folk, please be wary that in accepting this pact you agree to refrain from striking a deal with another creature of fey, infernal or otherwise Eldritch origin. Should you nonetheless not be able to withstand the seductive melody whispered by their malevolent terms, we reserve the right to sever all ties, professional or social, with the end user and seek appropriate remedy from the Morning Lord. This is good. I like this. I wonder how many studios actually do this. Larian Studios owns or has licensed all rights and title in and to the game and the service and all data and content. So this is them talking about their licensing. Larian Studios licensors, you agree will not create any work of authorship based on the game or game content, and you will not use any of Larian Studios' trademarks, service marks, trademarks, logos, domain names, taglines, or trade dress for any purposes except as expressly permitted by Larian Studios. Okay. This all seems pretty more standard. We've got Wizards of the Coast kicking in, right? Because of their whole legal battle recently. This is good. It's in here. Content. The game has received a minimum age ratings, PEGI or ESRB, based on its content. It contains scenes and images of violence, sexuality, as well as strong language that some may find disturbing. If you are sensitive to such content or such content is a trigger for you, please be aware of this before you begin playing the game. Which is kind of like normal life, right? Okay, the game may contain flashing lights and images, which may induce epileptic seizures. If you or anyone in your household has epileptic condition, please consult your doctor before playing. If you experience dizziness, altered vision, eye or muscle twitches, loss of awareness, disorientation, any involuntary moment. So that's also a disclosure for anyone watching the video. Although, like, I'm twitching a little bit. You are permitted to create fan work regarding the game according to our fan content policy. You will be solely responsible for the fan work you create and make public, and in doing so, you'll make sure to represent yourself in a truthful manner and not as an official representative of Larian Studios. I am not an official representative of Larian Studios. That being said, there is no fiend in the realms that doesn't have a soft spot for idolatry, and admittedly, we're no different. So send us your best work, and know that mortals who amuse us often get better perks. That is also really cool. I did not know that they did this. Now I'm curious if DOS 1 and 2 had something similar. The following warranties give you specific legal rights. You may have other rights. It's very jurisdiction. Larian Studios warrants that it has the right to enter into the pact, and you grant a licensed game service, that it will take reasonable care with the game and service, and your use of them, that it will be reasonable endeavors to comply with that. Yep. Okay. Kind of normal. Nothing in this pact limits our liability to you in the event of death or personal injury resulting from gross negligence, fraud, or knowing or misrepresentation on our part, or for any matter for which it would be illegal for us to exclude or attempt to exclude our liability, which would be tough, I think, with a video game. Although I know personal injury can potentially be other stuff too, maybe marketing or something like that it includes. But nonetheless, I'm sure this is just boilerplate kind of information, right? As a service to you, we may include with the game third-party drivers and other software utilities intended to assist you with installing and operating the game. Okay, updates and changes. Larian Studios may deploy or provide patches, updates, modifications to the game that must be installed for you to continue to play the game. Larian Studios may update the game remotely, and you hereby grant Larian Studios consent to deploy, download, install, and apply such patches, updates, and modifications to your copy of the game. As a result, older, non-updated versions of the game may become unusable over time. This is kind of like that catch-all. Hey, if Windows gets updated a bunch or we do updates, then we're not going to necessarily work on the current version of Windows that you're on right now, even though it currently works, right? So changes to the pack. Larian Studios reserves the right at its sole and absolute discretion to revise, e.g. update, change, modify, and to supplement or delete any of the terms and conditions of this pact from time to time as the game, services, or the law evolve. You'll be given an opportunity to review and accept any revised pact, which will supersede and replace the current pact, will be effective upon your acceptance. If you accept the revised pact and your account remains in good standing, then you will be able to continue playing the game. Yeah, so this is, hey, we updated. Okay. We can update this. Transfer. You make a one-time permanent transfer of all your rights to install and use the game to another end user. That technical protections measure used by the game supports such transfer. You also transfer this pact and all copies of the game, including your backup copies to the extent that you've made one, and you retain no copies of the game, upgrades, updates, or prior versions. Such transfer may not include access to any online features, service, or functionality, or right thereto, unlocked or downloadable content that are limited to a user account and or that otherwise not transferable. I wonder how that plays into Steam, because I think it's pretty difficult for Steam to transfer a game. I don't know. This pack shall remain in effect for as long as you use, operate, or run the game. It's a good catch-all. You acknowledge and agree that Larian Studios may collect, store, and share user gameplay information collected from you, both as an individual and aggregated within the user gameplay information of other users of the game. User gameplay information will be anonymous. In addition, you acknowledge and agree that Larian Studios may analyze and use such anonymous information. Okay. Choice of law and venue. These are all legal stuff. Languages, additional platform terms. So, but Steam's kind of transfer rights, go back and it's them first. They override or supersede this. That's what I'm guessing. All right. Nothing herein shall be deemed to supersede or derogate. I don't know. From Larian Studios, remedies at law for any violation of this pact or applicable law. If any provision of this pact is unenforceable, the rest of it shall remain in effect. This pact constitutes the entire agreement between you and Larian Studios with respect to the use of the game. Supersedes all prior and contemporary oral written communications. If you are playing the game with Larian account, the terms and services apply in conjunction with the end user account. Cool. I think that's fun. I'm really curious now just how much they do this in other games. And now I kind of wonder, like, do any other games do this? All right. Thank you for sitting through the end user license agreement with me. I think that was really fun. If you know of another game that has very similarly humorous end user license agreements or similar kind of documentation in it, I would love to see it. So send those video games in the comments. Otherwise, come on, play Baldur's Gate 3 with me. You know, I'm going to play through my way and my style. So there's going to be spoilers. There's going to be all kinds of things if you actually watch the videos. So be mindful of that before you join in and watch them. But I guarantee you, if Larian Studios is anything like their previous games, my playthrough is going to be very, very different from any one of your playthroughs. And I think that's what's going to be the most entertaining part of the game. So have a good one.
This video is brought to you by Caffeine Zombies. Coffee's so good, it'll wake the dead.